Hi doing everybody, welcome back to my channel, my Creo tutorial channel. Today, let's go straight at it. Today we're going to be doing chapter 5, exercise number 3. Hopefully this will help you. This tutorial will help you finish this modeling quickly. What this tutorial is going to focus on is how to work around your datum plane. So this exercise is really going to help you how to manipulate datum planes in order to draw this model. Okay, so let's start. So before we start, let's start analyzing the problem. So what we're going to do first is we're going to draw this base. After we draw this base, we're going to draw this cone. After we draw the cone, which is going to be a revolve feature, we're going to do a cutout, which will be part 3. And then we're going to focus on these exclusions by manipulating datum planes. Okay, so the steps are going to be first the base, the cone, the cutout, manipulate the datum planes to draw this portion, and then we're going to draw this portion, which is going to be part 5. Okay, so it's going to be as follows. So let's get started. Okay, let me clear that out. So let's get started. So we're going to click on sketch. We're going to click on the top datum plane, sketch view, and let's draw the outermost circle. The circle that we're going to draw is the outermost circle, and that's the only thing we're going to do at this part. And that outermost circle has a diameter of 55. Okay, we're going to finish that and we're going to extrude it. That extrusion is going to be 10 if you look closely, not 10, 4 units. This extrusion is going to be 4 units. Okay, now we're going to draw. Now that we finished that part, we finished the circle, we're going to draw the cone. We're gonna draw the cone by looking at a right side view, and we're gonna draw this half portion and we're gonna revolve it around. Okay, and we're gonna do it as follows. We're gonna click on sketch and we're gonna click on this mid plane. You could click on this mid plane too, doesn't really matter, but to maintain everything in the center orientation, let's click on this plane and make sure that the arrow is looking towards that way. Okay, we're going to click on sketch view. Okay, now before you continue on, click on your references and put this line as a reference, don't forget. Okay, since we are going to use a revolve features, some people would start with clicking revolve, and the revolve will prompt you to go to create a sketch. But I usually like to create a sketch first and then I would later click on the revolve. Doesn't really matter, but I prefer to first go to sketch and then later I'll click on the revolve button, which will be the same thing. So what I started with is the sketch button. I'm going to create a center line just to take care of the revolve feature. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw this outline. It does not have to be perfect because later you're going to give it dimensions. Okay, so we're going to click, make this portion, make this portion, make this portion, and go down. Okay, just as so. After we did that, this topmost circle, if you look closely, this topmost circle, let me zoom in, is going to be this part circle, which is going to have a diameter of 15. Since we draw in half, we're going to do 15 divided by 2. Okay? This portion right here, okay, if we look at the PowerPoint, it's going to have the outermost diameter of 19. Okay, that's the outer part circle right here. Since we're doing half of it, we're going to do 19 divided by 2. Okay? Now, this distance here, let's click escape. This distance here, if we look back at the sketch, is going to be 4 plus 2, which should be 6. Actually, no. It only should be 4. That distance of that line should be 4. So we're going to, right here, type in 4. Okay? Now, we look back here. This line here is actually touching this circle, inner circle, which has a diameter of 40. So what we're going to click on dimensions. We're going to click here. You're going to click here. Now, the problem is that there's no locking between this intersection when you click dimension. A simple solution to that is you go click on point, and the point is going to touch the actual intersection. Okay? Then you go to dimension, click on this point and this point. And that circle needed to have a diameter of 40. So we're going to have a 40, should be 20. Okay? Now, one last touch up is this point to the bottom should be, the total height should be 35 from the bottom all the way to the top. Should be 35. There we go. And we finish our half. Now, please remember to close your feature, because if you don't, you will not be able to do the revolve feature. Okay? Click escape, escape. If your shape is shaded, then it is ready to be revolved. If it's not shaded for any particular reason, probably there's a line that needs to be deleted, or there's an open loop. Okay? And if you click here, this button here will show you blue lines where if there is open loops. In this case, they are not, because the shape is shaded. So we're going to confirm, and we're going to revolve this shape as so. Okay? And there we go. Okay. Now, the other part we're going to do this innermost cutout. So we're going to do the same step we just did, but with this particular dimensions, and we're going to do revolve again, but instead of extruding, we're going to do a cutout. Okay? So we're going to click on sketch on that same plane we just drew on. Okay? Looking as such, we're going to click on sketch view. Now, the only problem here is that using this current view, you cannot see the innermost dimension, the innermost lines. A workaround to that is click hidden lines. Okay? It will facilitate in visualizing how to draw your shape. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw line as such. Okay? Does not have to be perfect. Line as such. And the line that goes the way through. Remember, do not worry about dimensions. You could later modify that. Okay? So let's look at our PowerPoint. The innermost dimension of this circle is 11. It has diameter of 11. So we're going to do 11 divided by 2. Okay. Let me close these other PowerPoints. I think they want to close. Don't save. has an innermost diameter of 11, and the distance of the innermost line of the cut is 6. 4 plus 2, which should be 6. Okay, don't worry about this. This will take care of itself later. So both of these lines have to be parallel. So we're going to click on the constraint, and both of these lines have to be parallel. Okay, and in being parallel, there have to be 2. This distance took care of itself. Okay, so these lines are parallel with a distance of 2, 6, 5.5, which is half of 11. Okay, now if you look at the PowerPoint, this innermost distance was not given. It could be assumed that by given these constraints here, that distance would take care of itself. Okay, and so we are done with that portion. Let's just double check. 11, 2, 2, 11. This angle here pertains to the datum plane and not actually to the line. Okay, so once we are done, like always, let's close our shape all the way down here. Okay, put a center line. Okay, and we accept. We are going to revolve now. Now, if you don't see nothing occurring, it's because it's unhidden. An unhidden line. Let's click on shading so you can see your cutout. And you can see it perfectly being cut out. All right, we're gonna accept. And there we go. We did our first step. Our second step, which was to cut out. Now the preceding step would be to draw this extrusion here. But in order to draw this extrusion, you will have to know how to manipulate your datum planes, which I will show you in this video. Okay. So what is occurring here, let me see if I could zoom this a little up and let me put my drawing feature. What is occurring, sorry about that. What is happening in this portion is that this datum plane is going to be rotated at a degree of 21.3, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, at 21.3. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an axis here, right? An axis, and then we're going to rotate our datum plane on that axis in reference to this datum plane. Okay, and you see how is it that I'm going to achieve that. Okay, so it's going to be as follows. You're going to click on axis. Okay, axis on what plane or what surface? On this plane. We're going to hold Control, and we're going to click the top face. So you're saying that, okay, I want my axis to be on this plane all the way to the top. Let me click Control Z. If I would have clicked here and click on the bottom, that axis will be on top of that face. But actually, I want my axis to be right on top. Why on top? Because the picture is saying that the axis is being rotated at that point. Okay, and we're going to accept. Okay, so all of that was to create this axis. Now we're going to click on datum plane. So datum plane always asks you for two references. So we're first going to click on the axis that we created. So this is the point of rotation, and now it's asking you, okay, in reference to what? So you're gonna hit Control, and we're gonna hit this plane, in reference to this plane. Okay, and we click front view. We have the same picture that you have on your drawing, and that should be 21.3. Okay, let me make this a little smaller. 21.3. Okay. Now what we're gonna do now is we're gonna offset that plane that we just created. We're gonna offset that plane by 11. Okay. And you could call that, you don't have to, but just for reference and practices, naming what you just did, view underscore DD. So you can know what planes pertains to what. And you could hide this plane because it will be a little unnecessary if it don't get on the way. Okay. So there you go. That's the plane you just created. Now we could draw this feature right here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna click on sketch, click on this plane, and we're gonna look downwards. Okay. Click on sketch view. Now we're seeing. Now before we continue onwards, right? Always do your references. We're gonna reference the center of the circle again, because everything is being referenced to that center of that circle, that point. Okay. You're gonna click close. You're gonna sketch view, and to take out the clutter, let's remove all planes. Okay. Let's just remove all planes just to make the view a little more easier. So now that we're on this plane, draw the circle, doesn't really matter. And if you look at your PowerPoint or the worksheet that your professor gave you, it should be 20 from that center. Okay. This circle is going to be, now we're going to start drawing the extrusion. The outermost circle has a radius of 9. Thus, that's going to be a diameter of 18. Okay. I wrote 18 instead of 9 because I am given diameter. If by any chance you don't want to do it like that, you could just click on dimension, one click, middle button, and you can write 9. Same thing. Okay. Now we're going to draw another circle. That's the innermost. I don't think. Actually, we don't have to draw that circle. Let's put a center line because we're going to use the whole feature. Okay. Put the center lines because later it's going to help with mirroring objects that you will be drawing. Okay. So we're going to draw 2 circles. And make this circle equal to that one, equal by having that constraint. When you see that equal, it's going to equal to that little small circle. Okay. Before you continue on, you do need the center line to use this constraint. You're going to click symmetric constraint. You're going to click these 2 points of the circle going to be symmetric to this center. Okay. It's important that you do that so when you put the dimensions between these 2 circles, they'll be symmetric. And the distance between them is 20. There you go. That's all you had to do. Okay. Once you do that, your next step will be your fillets. Fillet between, before the fillets, modify the dimension of the circle. The dimension of the circle is, let me see more closely, 3.25. 3.25. Oh no, that's the radius, I'm sorry. Radius is 3.25. Let's delete this constraint, and radius is 3.25. Okay. Once we're done, we're gonna click fillet. So fillet between this and this circle. Sorry guys. The fillet needs to have a radius of 4. Okay. Zoom in a little. Needs to have a radius of 4. Now that we finish, don't keep using the fillet. Click on escape. Click on your fillet that you just created. Click on mirror and mirror it from that center. Right? Now click on the fillet again. Hold control and click on this fillet to select both of them and click mirror and click the center. And there you go. You created all your fillets in one shot. Okay? Now we created our outermost outline. Now we have to delete segments. Closely, this segment, this segment, this segment, this segment, this segment, this segment, this segment. Okay. Now that we did that, we could now accept our drawing. Okay. So this is how it looks like. We just draw on that plane. I'm gonna display my plane so you can see what's going on. See, on the plane that you created, you and I. So now we're gonna extrude on the opposite. Now be careful, because if you leave it as it is, it's just gonna extrude all the way through, and then you think you have to, start, guessing the number. No, you don't. And what you go is click on this button and go to the third option where it says extrude up to the next surface. What happens? Extrude all the way through the surface without any overlapping. Okay? We're gonna click accept. Okay? So now what we're going to do is, let's see. What happens is that you don't see no axis. Okay? There's no axis to draw or no points of reference. Real simple workaround is that you go to this extrude that you just created, click on the drop down menu, and click on edit definition of the sketch. Okay? Sketch view. You could have done this at the beginning, but sometimes it happens and you forget. So you click on point and click on this point, click on this center, and click on this center, and click OK. What happens is, now it creates an axis for you at that particular point. Okay? Why is that important? Now you could go to home, click right here, right? So once you click on the whole feature, and you click on the axis, it's still asking you, okay, on this axis, where you want me to start. So you click on, hold control, and click on the face. There you go. Decrease this distance, because you don't want to cut all the way through. Decrease this distance just by a little. And the diameter of that circle is 2.5. Okay? And we're going to accept. I'm going to click it, hold again. This, click on axis, hold control. Click on the face. And the diameter of that circle is 14. And it's going to cut all the way through cleanly. Repeat again. Click on the axis. Click on the face. The diameter should be 2.5. Okay. Make sure it doesn't cut all the way through. Just decrease it just by a little. And click accept. So let's go back to standard orientation. And there, you created the right side of your drawing. Now, What we're gonna do now, we're gonna draw this portion. So what we have to do is we gotta rotate this plane right here by 45 degrees. Then after we rotate that plane by 45 degrees, which we're gonna have a plane like this side, okay, which will be this plane. It's gonna be this plane. Then we're gonna rotate this plane with an axis by 21.5. Okay. But this better is the best way to learn is by seeing how it's done. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna click on Datum Plane. Now remember, the Datum Plane is asking you, okay, are we gonna have a hinge? Are we gonna be in reference to a plane? In this point, we want to rotate this plane, right? But at what hinge? Right here. This is the hinge. When I talk about hinge, I'm thinking about a door hinge, you know, a point of rotation. Now it's always asking you, okay, you created a hinge in reference to what plane? This exact plane. Okay, so let's see a top view so you can see more cleanly. So I gave it the hinge, which was the axis that was right here. Okay, and then I put it in reference to this plane. So this rotation occurs at this exact axis in reference to this plane. Why I put in reference? So I could give it 45, like I just said, 45 degrees. Okay. Why did I choose 45 degrees, and how did I know it was 45 degrees? A little explanation would be that if you see this, when you see this line, that line is half of this quadrant. You know, this is the first quadrant, second quadrant, and this is your third quadrant, right? It's half of that quadrant. When you see half, it's actually saying 45 degrees. If it's not specified, it is assumed that it's 45 degrees. Okay? Excuse me. Okay. So now that we rotated this plane, now we gotta rotate this plane this way, 21.5 degrees. But how can we rotate it if there is no point of rotation? There's no hinge. We gotta create a hinge, okay? So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna hide this plane just to keep it a little clean. So we gotta create an axis. So we're gonna click on this plane, okay? Hold Control and click on the top, okay? So you have this axis that is right exactly at the top, okay? And that is parallel to those lines, to the box, okay? And we're gonna accept that. So we created a door hinge for the new datum plane that we're going to create. So we're gonna go create datum plane, click on datum plane, click on the axis that we just created. So it's gonna be rotating this this plane, but in reference to what? In reference to this plane that we just rotated. Now this could be a little confusing right here. Let me see if standard view works. So this part could be confusing because you want your plane to be 21.5, but it's not letting you. It's giving you this weird number. If you think of your unit circle, once you go all the way through, right, you're at 360. You could have a positive angle or a negative angle, right? You cannot put, they tell you 21.5, it will give you this. But the opposite of that, which will be here, is basically you could just write 360 minus by 21.5. And it will give you that exact angle that they are asking for. Okay? And there we go. We created our plane. That plane that you see there is this plane right here. Is this plane right here. That's the plane that we are seeing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to offset this plane by 10. Okay? That's all we're going to do now. So let's clear this up. So we're going to click on Datum Plane. We're going to click here. And we're going to offset that plane by 10. Okay? There we go. So that's the plane that we're going to use to draw. And let's rename it. This is section. Section. You don't have to do this, but just for this tutorial purposes and for organization purposes, I'm going to name it section A so you know that this datum plane has to do with section 8A. I'm going to hide this plane here just to make everything more clean. And now we're going to draw in this perspective. So we're going to click sketch. And we're going to click sketch. Now, like always, we want to see this. Imagine our eyes are here. A little more explanation on this. Imagine that our eyes are here. Those are my quirky eyes. And you're looking from this side to here. Okay? If you have it the other way, so if you have it this arrow the other way, then it means your eyes are going to be this side and looking at it from this way, which you don't want to see it from that way. You want to see it from this point. Okay? So that's why this is important, the arrows. Click on sketch. Now, once you click on sketch view, like you are used to doing, this occurs. And it will pose a problem because orientation is very important when drawing this, this part. So what you do, okay, this is the plane that we just created, right? So you're going to click on the view button here, right? And we're going to click, I want to draw, or I want to have a normal view to this plane. Give me a second. A normal view to that plane. Okay? So like that you have a normal view. If you click on other orientations, it would really mess you up. So always click on view normal. Rotate it at least so you could be facing the plane, and click view normal and you have a normal view. Okay? References, again, the circle. Okay? The center circle. Because everything is orientated from that center circle. Okay? To make things easier, let's go on ahead and take out these planes. Okay? Actually, let's put it back just for now. And what we're going to do, we're going to click on center line from that center. Give me a second. And you click on this axis, which is perfectly perpendicular to this line of the plane. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to click here. What I'm gonna do, let's delete this. Give me a second. Click on the center line. With that point that I just created, is actually aligned with that axis. Okay, so now we have a horizontal and a vertical. Okay, let's go on ahead and hide the planes and hide the axis, you know, just to clean stuff up. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw this circle, and this circle has to be 20 from that center. Okay, so look from now on, look at your worksheet. So draw the circle, doesn't really matter. This has to be 20. Okay, the outermost diameter is 20. Okay, the outermost diameter is 20. And then what we're going to do, now that we are here, we might as well create the other circle. So we're going to create the center. That's the reason why I created also the center line, because now you can see that this is parallel to this line, which helps a lot. Okay, we're going to draw a circle. Zoom in a little. We're going to draw a circle. Let's make it pretty big so we could later manipulate it. And the diameter is 2.5. Okay, and from the center is going to be 8, because that inner circle that they draw here has a radius of 8. Okay, and now we're going to draw another circle, same distance, same diameter or radius, and we're going to write 8. Okay, now what we do is we click on this circle, we're going to click on mirror, and mirrors, click here, mirror from the center line, and we have our circles. Okay, don't worry about the middle hole, we're going to use the hole feature later. Okay, so we're going to click, we're going to accept that. That is our circle. We're going to click extrude around, right? Go here, click on the third, extrude up to the next surface to prevent any overlapping. And we're going to accept that. Okay. Now again, I forgot to do this. We're going to go to the extrude that we just created. We're going to go to a sketch, and we're going to edit definition. We're not going to change nothing. We're just going to add points. Why are we going to add points? So it could help with the center, especially of this circle. Okay, we're going to accept it. Now you don't see your axis. It's because remember that we took them out. We removed the axis. Okay, just to help with the clutter. Now we go back and we enable them. We click on the hole feature. We click on the hole feature. We click on this center line. Hold Control. Click on this face. Okay, and that center hole has a diameter of 12. Okay, diameter of 12. Make sure that it's not going all the way through. We're gonna accept that. Okay, now it looks like there's a cutout, but there's no cutouts here. Okay, so what you're gonna do is, a lot of ways that is easier. You could click on hole and do repeatedly, or what you could do is click on sketch, click on this same surface, make sure you're looking at that side. Okay, do not click on sketch view, just say view normal to this face, or rotate it to the best as you can. You say view normal to this face. Okay. What you're gonna do is, doesn't really matter that it doesn't have to be perfect. Lock in. Lock in is gonna lock in for you. Draw the little circles. Okay. Accept. Extrude. Other way in. Right. And click here. Remove material. You could have used the whole feature, but you know, just clicking it 4 times could be a little redundant. Just might as well redraw the circles and remove material. Okay. So we did the most hardest part. Now the next part is to make those holes here, which is the last part and the most easiest. Click on sketch. Click on this face. Please make sure that the arrows are looking down. Right. Click on sketch view. Put a center line so that you could use your mirror. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna draw a circle here. There we go. The distance from that circle, from the center, has a diameter 48. So it has a diameter 48, this circle. So that means that its radius is 48 divided by 2. So what we're gonna write here is 48 divided by 2, 24. And the small circle has a diameter 4. Okay. Then what we're going to do, we're going to draw the same circle. For other chapters, you could have used the pattern feature and do the cutouts around, but in this chapter, we're not using that technique. That's in more preceding chapters. So for now, go on ahead and redraw the circle again. Okay, this has to be 24. Okay, now what you do is just click on the circle, mirror, mirror from the center line. Again, click on this circle, mirror to the center line. Okay, there we go. We accept. We accept our circle. We're gonna click Extrude, click on the arrow all the way, and now it should automatically put itself in remove material. Okay, and there we go. We have created our model with the side view and the side cuts and the top and the hollow feature. Okay, again, I consider that the most hard part of this model is manipulating your datum planes. And let me show the datum plane again. It's manipulating these datum planes that I have shown you. Again, if you have to stop the video and replay those parts again, do so, because I consider that in learning your datum planes and how to manipulate them and how to rotate them, and will really help you with drawing future models in which datum planes is very important to know. Okay. Again, guys, thank you for watching this video. Hopefully it has helped you or aided you in understanding Creo better. Please leave a thumbs up or a thumbs down, subscribe to my channel, and give me comments if in ways that I could improve my tutorials. Okay, have a nice night. God bless you. Hope that this has helped you.